A seismic shift has rattled the Pacific. The Philippines has agreed to host more United States missile systems, challenging China's warnings and sparking debates across Asia. Headlines blare, politicians react, and global militaries take note. The move is historic and controversial, a clear signal that the Philippines is stepping further into Washington's strategic embrace. The announcement arrives amid rising maritime tensions. Filipino fishing boats and coast guards have faced water cannons and laser attacks from Chinese ships in contested waters. In this volatile backdrop, Manila's decision to allow new United States missile deployments is both a shield and a provocation. What exactly has changed? For decades, the Philippines has played a delicate game, balancing its sovereignty with the need for strong allies. Now, the stakes have grown higher. The country's leaders argue that the risks of inaction outweigh the dangers of confrontation. This essay unpacks the latest agreement, dives into the historical ties between Manila and Washington, and examines the regional storm it has unleashed. The story does not end with missiles. It is about security, sovereignty, and the future of Asia itself. In early 2026, Manila and Washington signed a new defense pact, allowing the U.S. to deploy advanced missile systems across the Philippines. These highly mobile, precise missiles are the most significant U.S. assets on Philippine soil since the Cold War. The deal goes further than previous agreements authorizing the transfer and deployment of missile batteries focused on air defense and anti-ship systems. For the U.S., it secures a critical foothold near the South China Sea. For the Philippines, it brings advanced technology and deterrence. The U.S.-Philippines alliance dates back over a century, beginning with America's colonial rule after the Spanish-American War. After World War II, the Philippines became one of America's closest allies, hosting major U.S. bases at Clark and Subic. The 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty cemented their bond. An attack on one is an attack on both. Today, new threats and U.S. missile deployments mark a return to robust cooperation and a new era of strategic risk. The latest agreement is about hardware, not just treaties. The U.S. is deploying Patriot and Typhoon missile systems to the Philippines. Typhoon can launch Tomahawk cruise missiles and SM-6 interceptors, reaching up to 1,600 kilometers. This covers most of the South China Sea and parts of southern China. These systems deter aggression, reassure allies, and boost Philippine capabilities. The South China Sea is a cauldron of rivalry. Over the past decade, China has built artificial islands, militarized reefs, and regularly harassed other nations' vessels. The Philippines, whose exclusive economic zone includes much of the West Philippine Sea, has been on the front lines of this struggle. Incidents have become routine. Chinese Coast Guard ships have used water cannons, lasers, and menacing maneuvers to push Filipino vessels away from Scarborough Shoal and the Spratly Islands. Fishermen have been blocked from traditional grounds, and supply ships have faced dangerous encounters. Each confrontation is more than just a local dispute. These incidents highlight a broader contest over resources, sovereignty, and freedom of navigation. They also test the credibility of the Philippines' alliances and its resolve to defend its maritime rights. Against this backdrop, the decision to host U.S. missiles takes on added urgency. It is Manila's answer to repeated provocations, a signal to Beijing that the days of unchecked bullying may be coming to an end. Why is the Philippine government allowing more U.S. missiles on its soil? For President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and his advisors, the answer is straightforward: national survival. As threats rise, so must deterrence. The government argues that a robust defense posture is the only way to protect Filipino lives, territory, and resources. Officials stress that these deployments are not about provoking China, but about ensuring peace. We seek partnership, not provocation, they say. The missiles are defensive in nature, intended to prevent war, not start one. Still, they underline Manila's determination to uphold its sovereignty and international law. The government also points out that the U.S. deployments bring training, joint exercises, and modernization benefits for the armed forces of the Philippines. These help narrow the technological gap with potential adversaries. Finally, the move is about credibility. The Philippines wants to show the world, and its own people, that it cannot be intimidated. By deepening its alliance with the U.S., Manila hopes to deter aggression, attract investment, and preserve its independence. China's reaction has been swift and severe. Beijing condemns the missile deployments as a grave provocation and a threat to regional peace. Chinese officials warn that such moves could turn the Philippines into a pawn of the U.S., destabilizing Asia and increasing the risk of conflict. From Beijing's perspective, the U.S. is encircling China with military alliances and bases. The presence of American missiles so close to China's shores is seen as an attempt to contain its rise and undermine its security. Chinese media outlets echo this line, warning of serious consequences if Manila continues down this path. Diplomatic protests have escalated. China has hinted at economic retaliation, potentially restricting trade, investment, or tourism. State-backed cyber operations and information campaigns have also reportedly targeted Philippine institutions. Despite its anger, China faces limits. Direct military action would be risky and costly. Still, Beijing's objections underscore how the Philippines has become a frontline state in the larger US-China rivalry. The Philippine missile deployments cannot be understood in isolation. They are part of a much larger contest between the United States and China for influence in the Indo-Pacific. Washington has sought to strengthen alliances and partnerships across Asia, from Japan and South Korea to Australia, and now the Philippines. For the United States, the stakes are high. Maintaining access to the South China Sea is vital for trade, military mobility, and the credibility of its security commitments. The deployments are meant to reassure allies that America will stand by them, even as China's power grows. China, meanwhile, sees the region as its historic sphere of influence. It has invested heavily in its navy, missiles, and artificial islands, aiming to push U.S. forces farther away and deter foreign intervention. The Philippines' decision tilts the regional balance, giving the United States new options and complicating China's calculus. The chessboard is set, and every move is watched closely by capitals from Tokyo to Canberra. Missiles are only part of the story. The Philippines and the United States have ramped up joint military exercises, such as Balikatan and Salaknib, involving thousands of troops. These drills build interoperability, improve disaster response, and send a clear signal of unity. American aid has also increased. The United States has pledged hundreds of millions of dollars for military modernization, maritime security, and infrastructure in the Philippines. This support extends beyond defense. It includes education, public health, and economic development. For Manila, these benefits are tangible. They make the alliance more attractive and help cushion the risks of Chinese retaliation. They also foster people-to-people ties, with educational exchanges, technology transfers, and business partnerships. However, the balancing act remains delicate. The Philippines seeks security from the United States, but it cannot ignore its economic ties with China, the country's largest trading partner. Navigating this complex relationship will require careful diplomacy and a clear sense of national interest. The Philippines' leaders know the stakes are high. They must protect their territory and people without dragging the country into a great power conflict. This requires walking a tightrope, deepening defense ties with the United States while keeping doors open to China. Manila has emphasized that it welcomes investment and trade from all partners, including China. Officials have avoided inflammatory rhetoric and have called for dialogue to resolve disputes peacefully. At the same time, they have made clear that the Philippines will not yield its rights or tolerate intimidation. The government also seeks support from regional bodies like ASEAN, hoping that multilateral diplomacy can help ease tensions. Quiet back-channel talks with Beijing continue, aimed at reducing misunderstandings and preventing accidental escalation. This strategy is not without risks. Critics warn that Manila could face economic coercion or military pressure from Beijing. Yet, for now, the government believes that a strong alliance with the United States, backed by credible deterrence, is the best way to navigate these turbulent waters. The Philippines' decision to host more U.S. missiles has already changed the security landscape in Asia. Some see it as a bold step for sovereignty. Others warn of new dangers. What is certain is that the region is entering a new, more contested era. For the Philippines, the stakes are existential. The country must defend its territory, uphold international law, and secure its development in a dangerous world. For the United States, the alliance is a test of credibility and resolve. For China, the deployments are a challenge to its ambitions and a warning that its neighbors will not be cowed. The broader impact is still unfolding. Other regional players, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, are watching closely. The risk of miscalculation or conflict has increased, but so has the potential for collective security. The future of Asia hangs in the balance shaped by choices made today in Manila, Washington, and Beijing.